Behold, my stuff.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? It is the 1st of January. We're doing our first video of the year. I thought about doing a last video of the year, and then I thought to myself, everybody does that. Why not do a first video of the year? So what are we going to look at for the first video of the year? Well, we're going to start the year off with what occupies most of my time. I don't do a ton of posts of my props and stuff here as much because I've been very busy working on things for my group in the Evil Dead, which I've mentioned many times, the Knights of Samaria. So what is the newest thing that's coming around? Obviously, you guys have seen my video where we talk about the Lineage Evil Dead 2 Book of the Dead, which does contain a full set of pages. And these are not Elder Props pages. These are not the ones that come in the TOTS book. These are accurate to the animatic. So that's my pride and joy. I've also extensively gone over the AVED book. And the AVED book, again, has a full set of pages. And these pages I've shown many, many times. So those take up a good amount of my time. People buy covers and they send them to me and they're like, hey, convert this into a book for me. And so I do that. But I did work on one project for myself over the last year that was for me. And it was an Evil Dead 1 Natorium Demento. Now, some of you might say, well, what is the Natorium Demento? Well, the Natorium Demento was what the book was called in Evil Dead 1 before they started calling it the necronomicon ex mortis. And I love the Natorium Demento for two reasons. One, this particular book was the book that started the whole love for me of making a fake book from a movie, because it was the only one that we saw an entire flip through in a deleted scene. So I actually knew every page of what was in the book. So I said to myself, well, hell, if I wanted to, I could draw all those pages and make that book. What I couldn't do was the cover. Then they sort of did something where we could do that because the DVDs came out and they started, these are repainted, but they started selling these, and I bought one of these a long time ago, and I always said, oh, well, okay, I could make a set of pages and put it in that, and then I'll have my Book of the Dead. And so, for the longest time, I never did anything with it, and I went to a bookofthedead.ws website, and I saw Jesper Morch's cover, and that was a documented build on that site. And Jesper's cover is phenomenal. It is a very interesting, let me move some of the lighting here. Jasper's cover is incredibly detailed. This is a deep, deep pull. The crevices are very deep, making painting on this a lot of fun. And by fun, I mean a pain in the ass. But this is a deep, 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 deep casting. And I did this differently than I do my other ones because it has a very different look. And so for me, I always loved Jasper's cover. But what I didn't necessarily know was if there was ever going to be one that looked like it does in the movie. And so Brett from Brett's Groovy Chainsaws is working on one of those, and I hope to show that to you very soon. But I can tell you that this cover looks just like Tom's replica that he made for a long time. And it's gorgeous. It's a piece of Evil Dead history, and Jasper doesn't really do a ton of these covers. In fact, I think the amount of people who have one of these, you can count on one hand. I'm happy to be one of them. And I early last year, maybe in 2022 or maybe even 2021, I talked to him about getting a pull, and he was kind enough to accommodate me. It took a while to get it because we all had life things going on, but he did. And so size-wise, I knew that Jasper's sculpt was designed to be a little bit bigger. It's actually pretty close height-wise to the ED2 book. So it's not as thick, but it's pretty close to the same size. So the actual ED1 book should be smaller. It should be this size. And so this is actually an ED1 sculpt by Peyton Patron and on Instagram. And it's the burned book at the end of the movie. And so I'm working on that for him and showing him what that would look like finished up. So that's something else that's on my project list. But I wanted to do a Jasper. And I made it sized for Jasper, but my pages are accurate to Evil Dead 1. So they are still sized for a correct size ED1 book, like that one. And so I put the real deal in here. So it has the bend where it's supposed to. It has the strip binding, which is superficial. I actually bound it correctly, but I made it look like the way Tom did it. And these pages are in here, and they are the really real. It also contains the vellum pages where they're supposed to be, all the way to the end. Which is something that does confuse it. The one thing so this is the last page, and this is the second to last page. People get confused about that. The one thing that people like to do that I don't do is in this page, there's supposed to be a latex peel of hand in here. I don't do that. And the reason I don't do that is because you see in the t-shirt, my hand don't fit. So I could do a tiny hand, but then it always looks like a tiny hand to me. So I just don't do it. If you want it to be super accurate, you do need that, but you can kind of see it looks like the hand was in there. So I just sort of leave it. But this is now completing the full Necronomicon set of the Raimiverse for me. So I have my ED1. I've shown you my ED2. You've also seen the AVED. That's actually not mine. That's actually a customer's. That's going out to them. And then, of course, the AOD. The biggest update to the AOD is that the AOD now contains all the pages we recently saw in a video flip through because Sam Raimi donated his book to Bruce Fest, and they did a brief flip through where we saw about 7 or 8 different pages, and so I threw all those in. So now I have the first replica of an AOD that does have pages in it, so I was happy about that. I won't be the last, but I'm the first at least. So my replica has pages that no one else has ever put in before, so I was happy to do that. And I've got a bunch more stuff coming. I've got covers all over the joint. I'm working on all that, but I'm really, really excited that I got myself a Jesper. And as I've shown, that detail, man, is thick and gnarly. I did strip bind it in the way Tom did. I did not do the cloth binding, which he does on his replicas. I did it the old school way that he does it. My cat. But overall, I know the size isn't right, but I am going to make Brett's size correct because he sculpted it with the measurements that I provided him, so it would be accurate. And so we know that going in, but I wanted Jasper's to be made the way he had intended it to make it. And it's not, maybe not quite as pretty as his came out, but I'm really happy with it. It's not the best ED1 Natorium Demento that was ever made. I will not be that guy and say I have the best one. It's not. But I really like it. And it's a unique piece in my collection. And I can't believe I have a collection, but while I'm making them and I have them, who wouldn't want to add a Jasper? I mean, this cover is so gorgeous, you could just mount it like this and not even put pages in it. But you know me, I gotta bind it. So that is where I'm at with Evil Dead. I have a ton of books to make this year. And again, people buy covers from other builders who are doing the covers, and then I just simply complete them. And I'm not taking any new orders right now at all because I just have a ton of people who I'm already working with. But that's what occupies most of my time. So what the new year will hold, I do not know for me and my family. I never do. But I do know for a fact that this whole year, I know exactly how many books I'm going to build. So thank you guys for checking out the channel. I have some new stuff coming this way that I'm really excited about. And I've been teasing a bunch of it. Obviously, I've been teasing some Palpatine stuff. And I also have some Ghost stuff. A lot of cool stuff. Some Masters of the Universe stuff. Again, none of that's changed. It's all still happening, but it takes time. And while I'm building these books, I don't have time to make videos. So hopefully I'll be able to still get one out like once a month, maybe 2 a month. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So thank you guys for checking out. I will also have some Witcher stuff coming up as we get closer to season 3 of The Witcher. And we'll talk about The Witcher. So everybody have a good new year. Thanks for checking out the channel as always. And remember, if you can't build it, buy it. If you can't buy it, build it. And if you can't do either of those, watch my channel.